Cheta was in labor and gave birth to twin girls. The delivery was quick but challenging. Nurse Ngozi, seeing the situation unfold, made a bold choice. She switched one of Cheta's babies with the deceased baby girl, deciding to give both children a chance at a better life. Emeka and Adanna Okeke were a very wealthy couple who had everything they could dream of except for a child. Emeka was a successful businessman in the oil and gas industry, while Adanna maintained her beautiful home in Enugu. Their mansion was grand, filled with luxurious furniture and expensive art, but it lacked the laughter of a child. For many years, Emeka and Adanna prayed and tried various medical treatments, hoping to become parents. Each negative test result brought them immense pain, but they never gave up. They visited specialists, tried traditional remedies, and attended prayer meetings, all in the hope of having a child. Despite their wealth and success, the absence of a child left a void in their lives. One morning, Adanna woke up feeling unusually nauseous. She decided to take a pregnancy test, her heart pounding with anticipation as she waited for the results. Time seemed to stretch endlessly. When the two lines appeared, indicating a positive result, she let out a cry of joy, tears streaming down her face as she thanked God for answering their prayers. "Emeka," she called out, her voice trembling with excitement. Emeka rushed into the room, his face filled with concern. "Adanna, what's wrong?" he asked, his voice laced with worry. Adanna held up the test with a shaky hand. "We are going to have a baby," she said, her eyes shining with happiness. Emeka stared at the test for a moment, then pulled Adanna into a tight embrace. "Our prayers have been answered," he whispered, his voice choked with emotions. "This child will be loved more than anything in the world," he said. The news of Adanna's pregnancy brought immense joy to their home. They began preparing for their unborn child with great enthusiasm. The first step was decorating the nursery. They hired an interior designer to create a beautiful room for the baby. The walls were painted in soft pastel colors and they chose a crib with delicate carvings. They filled the room with soft animals, baby clothes, and all the necessities a newborn would need. Adanna's pregnancy progressed smoothly. She attended regular checkups and the best obstetricians in the region. Emeka made sure she had everything she needed for a healthy pregnancy. They also attended prenatal classes together, learning about childbirth and the newborn care. They wanted to be fully prepared for the arrival of their baby. Their friends and family shared in their joy. They organized a small baby shower to celebrate. Gifts and well wishes poured in, filling their home with even more love and anticipation. Adanna's friends offered advice and support, while Emeka's colleagues congratulated them on the upcoming addition to their family. One evening, as they sat together on the couch, looking through the baby names, Adanna placed her hand on her growing belly. "Emeka, we are finally going to have our miracle. I can't wait to hold our baby in my arms," she said, her voice filled with excitement. Emeka smiled, placing his hands over hers. "Adanna, our prayers have been answered. This child would be so loved." The morning of the delivery was filled with anticipation and nerves. Emeka and Adanna woke up early, ensuring they had everything ready for the hospital. The drive to the hospital was quiet, filled with unspoken hopes and fears that come with bringing a new life into the world. At the hospital, Adanna was quickly admitted and the medical team prepared for the delivery. Emeka held her hand, offering words of encouragement. The hours seemed to drag on as they waited for the moment they had dreamed of for so long. Finally, time came for Adanna to deliver their baby. Emeka was by her side, his heart pounding with excitement and worry. Adanna's labor was intense and she gave it her all, determined to bring her child into the world safely. The doctors announced the arrival of their baby girl, and for a moment The room was filled with joy, but almost immediately, complications arose. The medical team sprang up into action, working to stabilize Adana. In the chaos, Emeka's heart sank as he realized something was terribly wrong. Unbeknownst known to Emeka and Adana, their baby girl had not survived. The nurse, Ngozi, who had been part of their journey for years, felt a deep sadness as she watched the couple's joy turn into despair. She knew how much they had longed for this child, and she made a life-changing decision in that moment. At the same time, in another part of the hospital, a poor woman named Cheta was rushed in by a kind stranger. Cheta was in labor and gave birth to twin girls. The delivery was quick but challenging. Nurse Ngozi, seeing the situation unfold, made a bold choice. She switched one of Cheta's babies with the deceased baby girl, deciding to give both children a chance at a better life. I couldn't bear to see their hearts break again. This way, both children will have a chance at a better life, Nurse Ngozi whispered to herself as she carried out the switch. Cheta, exhausted and overwhelmed, was told that one of her twins had not survived. She cried for her lost child but clung on to the remaining baby, finding some solace in the kindness of the stranger who had brought her to the hospital. Emeka and Adana, unaware of the switch, were eventually given their daughter, though their initial joy was overshadowed by the complications Adana faced. They were relieved to have their baby girl in their arms. Back in Chita's room, she had her surviving daughter close, naming her Ifunanya, which simply means love. She was grateful for the child she had, even as she mourned the one she lost. Nurse Ngozi, watching from a distance, hoped that her decision would bring happiness to both families. Adana and Emeka took their daughter home, unaware of the switch. They named her Amara, meaning grace. The drive home was filled with mixed emotions. Adana was exhausted but happy, holding their precious baby girl in her arms. Emeka drove carefully, glancing back at his wife and daughter every few minutes, unable to believe that their dream had finally come true. As they arrived at their home, the staff greeted them with warm smiles and congratulations. The nursery, which they had lovingly prepared, was ready to welcome the newest member of the Okeke family. Soft pastel and colors adorned the walls, a beautiful crib stood at the center, and toys and baby clothes were neatly arranged. "Welcome home, baby Amara," Adana whispered as she gently placed her in the crib. Days turned into weeks, and Amara grew stronger and more beautiful with each passing day. She had everything a child could wish for: a loving family, a safe home, and all the luxury money could buy. Adana and Emeka doted on her, ensuring she never lacks anything. "Emeka, look at our beautiful baby. She is truly God's grace in our lives," Adana said as she rocked the baby to sleep. "Yes, she is perfect, and we are truly blessed," Emeka replied, his voice filled with love. Meanwhile, in a modest part of town, Cheta was adjusting to life with her daughter Ifunanya. Though she had lost one of her twins, she poured all of her love into raising Ifunanya. Their home was small, but filled with warmth. Cheta worked hard to provide for her daughter, taking up multiple jobs to make ends meet. Despite the challenges, Cheta found joy in little moments with Ifunanya. She would sing lullabies, tell stories, and cherish every smile and giggle from her baby girl. Ifunanya grew up in a nurturing environment, learning the value of hard work and resilience from her mother. As the years passed, Amara and Ifunanya grew up in their respective homes, unaware of their true origin. Amaka thrived in a luxurious surrounding, attending the best schools and having the finest things money could buy. She was a bright and cheerful child, loved by all who knew her. In contrast, Ifunanya grew up with fewer material possessions but was rich in love and values. Cheta ensured her daughter received a good education even if it meant making sacrifices. Ifunanya was a smart and kind-hearted child, always willing to help others. Both families lived parallel lives, continued to nurture and love their daughters, unaware of the bond they shared. Years later, Emeka and Adana found themselves needing extra help around the house. Managing a large household and balancing their professional lives had become overwhelming. They decided to hire a maid to ease the burden. After interviewing several candidates, they chose Cheta, a hardworking and kind-hearted woman who had come in with her daughter, Ifunanya. Cheta's dedication and honesty impressed them, and they felt she would be a perfect fit for their family. Cheta and Ifunanya moved into the small quarters provided for the maid and her family. Ifunanya was a bright and cheerful girl, much like Amara. The two girls met for the first time in the garden, where Amara was playing with her toys. "Hi, I'm Amara," she introduced herself, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "I am Ifunanya," the other girl replied, a shy smile on her face. From that day on, the two girls became inseparable. They spent their days playing in their expansive garden and sharing stories and discovering the world together. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, much to the delight of Emeka and Adana. "Mommy, Daddy, please let Ifunanya come to my school. She's my best friend," Amara pleaded one evening at the dinner table. Adana smiled at Emeka, who nodded in agreement. "Of course, Amara, we will make sure your friend gets the best education too," Adana said warmly. The next day, Emeka made the necessary arrangements, and soon Ifunanya was enrolled in the same prestigious school as Amara. The girls were thrilled to be able to spend even more time together, and their friendship blossomed even further. Amara and Ifunanya did everything together. They rode in the school bus, shared lunch, and helped each other with their homework. At school, they were known as the inseparable duo. Teachers often commented on how well they complemented each other, with Amara's outgoing nature and Ifunanya's thoughtful demeanor. At home, the dynamics also changed. Cheta found herself not only a maid but a part of the family in many ways. Adana and Emeka appreciated her hard work and dedication, and they often invited her and Ifunanya to join them for meals. The house was filled with laughter and warmth, creating a harmonious environment for everyone. One weekend, as the girls were playing in the garden, Adana watched from the balcony with a sense of fulfillment. "Look at them, Emeka. They are so happy together. It's like they were meant to be sisters," she mused. Emeka nodded. "Yes, Adana, they have a special bond. I'm glad we made the decision to help Ifunanya with her education." The months turned into a few years, and the girls continued to grow. They shared secrets, dreams, and even had their little arguments, just like real sisters. Their bond was unbreakable, and they supported each other through everything. One evening, as they sat under the stars in the garden, Ifunanya turned to Amara. "I'm so happy we met. You are the best friend anyone could ask for." Amara smiled and hugged her tightly. "Me too, Ifunanya. Would always be best friends, no matter what." As time passed, Emeka and Adana began to notice peculiar similarities between Amara and Ifunanya. Both girls shared the same outgoing personality, and they even had the same quirks and habits. What struck them the most was that both girls had similar allergies. They were allergic to the same type of food and had the same reaction to pollen and dust. One afternoon, Adana was helping Amara with her homework when she noticed Amara scratching her arms. "What's wrong, Amara?" Adana asked, concerned. "It's just this rash again, Mom. It always happens when I'm outside too long," Amara replied, trying to focus on her work. Adana's thoughts wandered back to a similar incident with Ifunanya a few weeks ago. She had the same rash after playing outside. That evening, as Emeka and Adana discussed the day's event, Emeka brought up his observations. "Adana, have you noticed how similar Amara and Ifunanya are? It's almost uncanny," Emeka remarked, his brow furrowed in thought. "Yes, Emeka, it's strange, but they are best friends. Maybe they just picked up each other's habits," Adana replied, trying to brush off her own doubts. Despite her attempts to dismiss the similarities, Adana couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to it. She decided to observe the girls more closely. Over the next few weeks, she paid attention to their interactions and behavior. She noticed how they finished each other's sentences, liked the same food, and even had the same favorite colors. One day, while preparing dinner, Adana overheard a conversation between the girls. Amara, do you know we both love mangoes? Ifunanya said with excitement. Yes, Ifunanya, and we both hate peanuts. They make us feel itchy, Amara responded. Adana felt a chill run down her spine. The similarities were too many to ignore. She shared her growing concerns with Emeka. Emeka, I think there is more to this than just friendship. Their similarities go beyond what best friends usually share, Adana said, her voice filled with worry. Emeka nodded. I know, Adana. I have been thinking the same thing, but what can we do? They are happy and healthy. Maybe we are just overthinking. However, their concerns deepened when they noticed how the girls' bond affected their social interactions. Amara and Ifunanya became increasingly exclusive, often preferring each other's company over that of other children. They would spend hours together, talking, playing, and sharing secrets. It was an ordinary day when everything changed. Amara woke up feeling unwell. She was pale and her energy was low. Adana noticed immediately and grew concerned. Amara, are you feeling okay? She asked, placing a hand on her forehead. Mommy, I feel really tired, Amara replied weakly. Adana decided to keep her home from school and called Dr. Obina to schedule an appointment. When they arrived at the clinic, Dr. Obina examined Amara thoroughly. His expression grew serious as he reviewed the results of the test. Adana, Emeka, Amara needs a blood transfusion immediately. Her hemoglobin levels are dangerously low, Dr. Obina explained. Panic setting for Emeka and Adana. They both volunteered to donate blood, but after testing it, it was discovered that neither of them was a match. What do we do now? Adana asked, her voice trembling with fear. Just then, Cheta, who had accompanied them to the hospital, stepped forward. Please let me help. If my blood can save her, I will gladly donate, she said with urgency in her voice. Dr. Obina nodded and quickly arranged for Cheta's blood to be tested. To everyone's surprise, her blood was a perfect match for Amara. The transfusion was carried out immediately and Amara's condition began to stabilize. While waiting, Dr. Obina couldn't shake off the nagging feeling of how unusual it was for non-relative blood to match so perfectly. After the procedure, he approached Emeka and Adana privately. This is highly unusual. We should run a DNA test to ensure there are no further surprises, Dr. Obina suggested. Emeka and Adana exchanged worried glances. They had noticed the similarities between Amara and Ifunanya, but had never considered the possibility of a deeper connection. Reluctantly, they agreed to the DNA test. The next few days were filled with anxiety as they awaited the results. Emeka and Adana tried to go about their daily routine, but the thought of the impending revelation was always at the back of their minds. Finally, the day came when Obina called them into his office. He had a solemn expression on his face as he handed them the results. I am afraid the test confirms that neither of you are Amara's biological parents, he said gently. Adana's knees went weak and Emeka held her tightly. How is this possible? Emeka asked, his voice shaking with emotion. Dr. Obina explained there could be a mix-up that happened at the hospital during the childbirth. It is not unheard of, though very rare. Given the match with Cheta's blood, it is possible that there is connection here. Confusion and disbelief washed over Emeka and Adana. They decided to confront Cheta with the results. That evening, after dinner, they sat down with her in the living room. Cheta, we need to talk to you about something important, Emeka began, trying to keep his voice steady. What is it, sir? Cheta asked, sensing the seriousness in his tone. Emeka took a deep breath. We did a DNA test on Amara, and it turns out that we are not her biological parents. The only reason we discovered this was because your blood was a perfect match for her and not us. Cheta looked shocked and confused. I don't understand. How can this be? Amara added, we think that there might be a mix-up at the hospital. We need to know more about what happened the day our baby Amara was born. Emeka and Adana realized that the truth might even be more complicated than they had just imagined. They decided to investigate further, determined to uncover the full story and understand how their lives had become so intertwined. Determined to find answers, Emeka and Adana decided to return to the hospital where Amara was born. They needed to know how such a mix-up could have happened. They hoped to find someone who remembered the details of that fateful day. The hospital had changed a lot over the years. Many of the staff had retired or moved on. It seemed like an impossible task, but they were determined to get to the bottom of it. At the hospital, they asked to speak with the administration. After explaining their situation, the hospital director agreed to help. He brought out old records and tried to find anyone who might remember the day Amara was born. After hours of searching, they finally got a lead. An old nurse remembered that Nurse Ngozi had been working on the said day. Nurse Ngozi, she retired a few years ago, the nurse said, but I think I have her contact information. Let me get it for you. Armed with the contact information, Emeka and Adana made their way to Ngozi's home. They were both anxious and hopeful that they would finally get answers that they needed. When they arrived, they found a modest house in a quiet neighborhood. Emeka knocked on the door. After a few moments, an elderly woman opened it. It was Nurse Ngozi. "Can I help you?" she asked, a bit puzzled. "Are you Nurse Ngozi? We need to talk to you about something very important," Emeka said, his voice steady but urgent. She invited them inside and they explained the entire situation. As they spoke, Nurse Ngozi's face grew pale. She realized what they were getting at and knew that the time had come to reveal the truth. "I am so sorry. I thought I was doing the right thing. Please forgive me," Nurse Ngozi pleaded, her eyes filled with remorse. Adana's eyes filled with tears. "Please tell us what happened and what are you apologizing for?" she said, her voice trembling. Nurse Ngozi took a deep breath and began to recount the events of that day. "I remember it clearly. You both had struggled so much to have a child. When your baby didn't survive, I couldn't bear to see your heart break again. At the same time, another woman named Cheta had given birth to twin girls. She was told that one of her babies didn't survive. I actually was the one who switched the babies, thinking it would give both children a better chance at life." Emeka and Adana listened in stunned silence. The reality of what had happened was almost too much to process. The woman they had trusted with their child's life had made a decision that changed everything. "So Amara is actually Cheta's daughter," Emeka said slowly, trying to wrap his head around the revelation. Nurse Ngozi nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I know it was wrong. I am so sorry for the pain I have caused you people. I never meant to hurt anyone. I was only trying to help. I am so sorry." The weight of the truth settled heavily on Emeka and Adana. They had come seeking answers, and now that they had them, they were faced with a new challenge. How to move forward with this knowledge. The lives of their children and their own would never be the same again. They knew they had to find a way to navigate this complex situation with care and compassion for the sake of both Amara and Ifunanya. After uncovering the truth from the nurse, Emeka and Adana knew that they had to confront Cheta. They decided to have the conversation in the privacy of their home to avoid causing unnecessary distress to the children. They invited Cheta to sit with them in the living room, sensing the gravity of the situation. "Cheta, there's something very important we need to discuss with you," Emeka began, trying to keep his voice calm. Cheta looked at him with concern, sensing the tension in the room. "What is it, sir?" Adana took a deep breath and she gently explained everything they had learned from Ngozi. She recounted how Amara and Ifunanya were switched at birth and how Ngozi's actions had been driven by compassion, albeit misguided. As the truth sank in, Cheta's face turned pale. She listened in stunned silence, her eyes brimming with tears. "I can't believe it. I thought I had lost my child forever," she whispered, her voice heartbreaking. The weight of the revelation was overwhelming. Cheta looked at Emeka and Adana, realizing the pain and confusion they must be feeling. She felt a mix of sorrow and relief. Sorrow for the years lost with her biological daughter, and relief that she had not truly lost her. Emeka reached out and placed a comforting hand on Cheta. "We are still victims in this. We must find a way to move forward together," he said, his voice filled with resolve. Adana nodded, her eyes filled with empathy. "Our girls, they have grown up as sisters. We can't undo the past, but we can work together to build a future where they know the truth and feel loved by all of us." Cheta wiped away her tears and nodded. "Yes, we must do what is best for Amara and Ifunanya. They deserve to know the truth, but we have to be careful about how we tell them." The three adults spent hours discussing how to handle the situation delicately. They agreed that the girls needed to know the truth, but decided to wait for the right moment. In the meantime, they would focus on supporting each other and ensuring that both Amara and Ifunanya felt secure and loved. The days that followed were filled with careful planning. Emeka and Adana continued to treat Cheta and Ifunanya with kindness and respect, ensuring that the household remained harmonious. They arranged for family counseling to help them navigate the complex emotions and conversations that lay ahead. One evening, as the family sat together for dinner, Emeka and Adana shared a knowing glance. It was time to begin the conversation with their daughters. They decided to start with small honest talks about family and identity, gradually preparing the girls for the full revelation. "Amara, Ifunanya, we want to talk to you both about something important," Adana began gently, looking at the two girls who sat across from her. Both girls looked up with curious expression. "What is it, Mom?" Amara asked, sensing the seriousness in her mother's tone. Emeka continued, "You both know how much we love you, right? There are some things about our family history that we think you are old enough to understand now." Over the next few weeks, they carefully shared pieces of the story, always reassuring the girls of their love and commitment. They explained the circumstances of their birth and the mix-up at the hospital. It was a lot for the girls to take in, but with the support of their parents and Cheta, they began to understand. The revelation was so overwhelming for everyone involved. Emeka and Adana were heartbroken, but also filled with gratitude for the years they had with Amara. They decided to keep both girls together, as they were sisters by blood. Cheta was given a permanent place in their home, and they all worked towards building a new blended family. The decision to forgive Nurse Ngozi was not easy, but Emeka and Adana understood her intentions. They reached out to her, offering forgiveness and inviting her to be part of their extended family. Nurse Ngozi, relieved and thankful, accepted the offer and became a frequent visitor, sharing her wisdom and stories with the girls. Life slowly returned to a new normal. The girls continued their schooling and extracurricular activities, thriving in the supportive environment created by their parents. Amara and Ifunanya's bond grew even stronger as they navigated the complexities of their shared history with maturities beyond their years. Adana and Cheta became close friends, supporting each other through the challenges of parenting and sharing the joys of watching their children grow. Emeka took on the role of a loving father to both girls, ensuring they never felt a lack of affection or attention. In the months and years that followed, the family continued to grow and thrive. They faced challenges together, always remembering the journey that brought them to this point. The story of their past became a source of strength and unity, reminding them of the power of love and forgiveness. They celebrated milestones together, each one a testament to their resilience and the bond they had forged. Birthdays, graduations, and family gatherings were filled with laughter and joy, creating cherished memories. The two families became one, healing together from the past and looking forward to a future filled with love and unity. They had learned that family was not just about blood, but about the connections they chose to nurture and the love they chose to give. The story of Emeka, Adana, Cheta, and their daughters teaches us that true family is built on love, not just by blood. Despite the painful revelation of the baby switch, the families chose love and understanding over anger and pain. They showed that forgiveness can heal deep wounds and create stronger bonds. The story reminds us that life's challenges can lead to a beautiful transformation when faced with an open heart. It encourages us to cherish our loved ones, seek forgiveness, and recognize that family is defined by love and care. Thanks for watching this captivating story on African stories and folktales. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more stories. Thank you.